You know what this is? This, my dear friends, is a symbol for success. This is how it's done. 10 men Chelsea beat Benfica in a tactical masterclass. That is how you win with 10 men. That is how you defend with 10 men. Clean sheet. No panicking with the substitutions after the red card. Just pure professionalism, maturity, and quality. Chelsea 1, Benfica 0. Beautiful. How'd you like them apples? Beautiful. I'm proud. I'm proud. We have managed, even when we're winning, even when we're running away to the finish line, finally at last, a win. I'll take this win, by the way, any way I can get it. I said it earlier this morning, all you can eat Chelsea. I don't care how we win, just win. We're not going to get glowing, great performances before the international break, not with the injuries, not with the form, not with the confidence levels, not with the heat on the manager, not with the circumstances, and also with rotation with this lineup, which we'll get to discussing. It's all about the result. It's all about winning the match. I said it on the watch along. When you're bleeding out, just do the stitches. Just get the stitches done. It doesn't have to look pretty. Yeah, it doesn't need to be fancy. We're bleeding out. The patient is bleeding. Save his life. Save her life. Worry about the aesthetics afterwards. So, job done. Job done. It was an own goal. I'm giving the assist to Garnacho. I don't care what any of you say. This is coming from me. Because a lot of you told me it doesn't count. I saw a sofa score. No plug. No ad. It doesn't count. I saw there's no assist by his name. I'm giving him the assist. 007 is over. Garnacho, congratulations, you contributed, you got an assist. If you don't put that ball into the box, that goal doesn't happen. So I don't know what this woke nonsense is. It's not an assist, but it is an assist. He assisted the goal. That's all I know. That's all I care about. Big up to you, Alejandro. So, Chelsea 1, Benfica 0. Let's get cracking. Team sheet goes out and there's some concern. And correctly, rightly so, because what we saw on the pitch was exactly why we would have been concerned with Tyreek George playing up front. I'm not going to say it's like playing with 10 men in the same way as when Nkunku played up there and didn't really necessarily care, didn't necessarily play with any effort. But it is still reminiscent of some form of 10 men because he's not involved, he's not engaged. Not entirely his fault. In fact, he doesn't play up front. He's not a striker. So he doesn't know the role and he can't really hold up and link up play because he hasn't got the physicality. And then his press is kind of half-baked because he's not explosive. He's not the quickest across the ground. So he's kind of playing up there. For what reason, I do not know. Gu is in the gulag. We now have decided as a community to call it the gulag. So everybody comment in below the gulag. Call it the gulag in the comments. Comment below the gulag. Because he's lost. He's in prison. He's locked up. And they won't let him out. I don't know what Gu has done to MARESCA. This is coming from me. I am not a Gu glazer. I am not a flag flyer for the player that I believe should be out on loan, getting regular game time, getting regular goals, and getting his stock up with the confidence. But he's here now. So can we just see him? Because at this point, João Pedro is suspended now, and he had a knock coming into this game. So whether you like it or not, you're going to have to use him. Even if it's against every fibre of your being, MARESCA, you're going to have to use him. So you can run as fast as you can. But Gu will catch you, the gingerbread man. You know what I'm saying? That's what I have to say. It's crazy at this point, but it is what it is. So that's the only thing is George was not really that involved. And that's a shame because I feel like with Gu, there's an aerial presence. There's probably better movement as a forward because he's a striker. And there's more of a box presence in terms of cutbacks for Garnacho. Garnacho is making cutbacks. Neto is making crosses into the box in this game. A couple of really good crosses. Obviously, the cross for Garnacho to lead to the goal. And also the cross that was beautifully whipped in and it just couldn't quite, I think João Pedro ends up clashing with the goalkeeper. Enzo Fernandez is just behind. We couldn't quite make that stick. But entirely, on the whole, the first half, it was even-ish. I feel like the beginning Benfica had the better chances. As the game went on, we got better and better, then we started to have better chances. Benfica certainly had good chances. There was definitely a feeling around the place that first 15, 20 minutes, Benfica could have had a goal or two, you know? They had a couple of moments. They're getting into our box. Really last-ditch challenges are having to go in. Fair play to Chalobah. Makes a massive tackle. Makes a massive, massive tackle in this game to stop a cutback from turning into potentially a tap-in. I thought Badiashile was very good today in defence. We needed that kind of performance. Something to steady the ship. Someone to be aerially dominant. It wasn't like Benfica possessed the most quality in the final third. They didn't give us the level of potential final third problems that Liverpool may do on the weekend with the Isak's rested. The Salah's not playing. I know they lost tonight. So it's not like as if this was the creme de la creme to perform against, but you play what's in front of you, and I think the two centre-backs did very well. Cucurella, he got better as the game went on. There's a couple instances, 1v1, where he got cooked and the cutbacks are coming in. I think that's where Chalobah's block comes from, actually. But as the game goes on, he starts to get gritty, he gets tenacious, he wins his duels. The right-hand side now, Gusto, very shaky again in terms of every attack almost is coming down his side, constantly going down there. They clearly see him as a weakness. He's not touch tight to people. He doesn't know whether to stay or whether to go. He's caught in no man's land quite a lot. The reverse passes are getting past him. It's not great over there. And Reece James comes on with 10 minutes time to kind of lock things up. So Gusto is concerning me because whatever we can say about MARESCA going forward with him in terms of half spaces and not letting him be a flying fullback like against PSG and putting him into midfield inverting, defensively, he's also not been as good as he was in his debut season, and that needs to change. I didn't really remember having to think about him so much as I am now on a 1v1 defensively. He just needs to lock in. He just needs to stay concentrated because right now, he's moving like Ramsdale. It's like he needs to fight with the fans to stay focused, and it's like, bro, this is football. It don't work like that. So, he needs to fix up there. Midfield, Caicedo, very good as always. You know, he's a consistent guy now. In this team, Caicedo, you know exactly what you're going to get. Baseline level performances, minimum 7.5, 8 out of 10, consistently, constantly. Great to see. Obviously, he came in with a knock as well, so it's a bit of a risk. Lavia wasn't fit to start. I guess he didn't have the energy in the tank to contribute. That's the game you play with Lavia at this point. You don't know what he can do and what he's capable of doing minutes-wise. Enzo plays again. Santos not on the bench, so I'm assuming, again, that knock is different for him. Buonanotte in the 10. He's a good player. Garnacho on the left. It was a decent performance. Much more to do, but baseline foundations, decent start. We can build from here. That's what I'm going to say. Neto. Decent, good, some good crosses, some good moments, some nice shots. Again, we need more. These three, in that first half, what I found, I didn't have any real individual brilliance. I didn't have anyone that could take this game by the scruff of the neck and say, this is my match. This is my time. When I receive the ball, I will control, I will alt, twist, and I will delete opposition players. I will take people out of the game. This became too 11v11 for my liking, which is exactly what it was until João Pedro got sent off. It was too much man for man. And you guys would have seen it in the last few games. Man-to-man press, man-to-man, people now to deal with us, they now to sort us out off the ball. We don't have players in this starting 11, in this attack, in that front four, that could say, 1v1 isn't going to work with me because you need two. Because if you don't double up with me, I'm going to kill you. And we didn't have that. So what we had was ball to feet, side to side, run. Garnacho and Neto are very similar dribblers. I would even do a demonstration if you wish. You didn't ask, but you're going to get. Receive. Come on. Where's the flair? Esteval comes on. I get flair. I get a little bit more, feng shui. I get a bit of Brazilian magic. João Pedro comes on. He receives in the half space. I just get a little bit more flair. I get a little bit more attitude. I get a little bit more personality. This is what we've purchased. This is why there's a cap, unfortunately, in my opinion, to what these two wingers can do. There's more to come from them, hopefully. I'm not trying to draw them out. But when you're playing against a team like Benfica and you're Chelsea, these are the positions on the pitch that elevate the team to take it to that next level, to make it a clear distinction between you and the opposition. Because we've got absolute star, top-tier quality, and you don't. So when we do receive the ball, in the wing. We will delete you, go past you, start to combine, connect with others, 1-2s, the crowd get off their feet. If Buonanotte is in the 10, receiving in the half space, I will nutmeg you. I will twist you like a pretzel. I will put you on the floor, and then life changes. Cole Palmer's, right? So that's why these positions in these matches, and this is why the manager potentially, people do talk about, oh, positional play. He was asked about it the other day. Why doesn't he give freedom? Players like Pedro Neto and Garnacho, they don't deserve freedom. They don't really deserve freedom because with the freedom they would be given, they wouldn't be capable of running a game. So they are limited to what they can do. So that's no problem. It is what it is. We have them. But we need to start having at least one person, and that will have to be Esteval, even though he's very young, that deserves the freedom that we're craving from MARESCA to give in this system. Because we do talk about positional play. I made the reference with Sarri and Hazard, all those years ago in 2019. Hazard's best output season was under Sarri, but he deserved the freedom that Sarri gave him. So when someone's that much of a talent, that much of a baller, big time baller, you have to give them that freedom outside of the system to excel. The same freedom that MARESCA has verbally said that Cole Palmer has. So that's what I felt like we lacked in the first half. It was just a bit pedestrian, a bit static, a bit predictable at times because we can't really interchange between Buonanotte and Neto and Garnacho because the wingers can't come into the 10. We know Palmer can float between 10 and wide. We know Hazard used to float between 10 and wide. Esteval float between 10 and wide. So it keeps things unpredictable. Interchange, movement. This was a little bit like more rigid, and maybe that's why. So that's what I'm saying with the manager is, with those players that he decided to play, it wasn't necessarily going to be a beautiful performance. We just needed a result. That's what we got. I don't get the Gue situation. Like I said earlier, maybe they have beef behind the scenes. I'm joking. I don't know what's going on. But all I do know is that someone made it very clear to me in the Super Chats that Gue, if he plays for Chelsea, then he can't go out on loan in January because then he would have to play for 3 clubs. He's already played for Sunderland, Chelsea. You can't play for a 3rd club. I personally would not prioritise a January loan over points on the board and potential options in the forward line when Delap's injured. Because what was the point in recalling someone if you're not going to play them because you're letting them loan on January? I don't get that. So maybe Gue's really not going to play, guys, until it's an emergency situation. So João Pedro is out for the next Champions League game. I think it's Ajax. George will probably still start, but then if George was to get injured, then Gue might play, and then we would sacrifice the loan. Maybe that's what's going to happen. They might want to loan him to Strasbourg and bring Amiga 3, the striker over there, into this Chelsea situation early, and then you go from there with him as your other forward. I don't know. But yeah, on the whole, good substitutions. I felt like the manager did want to get that second goal. I felt like he did try with João Pedro coming on, Esteval coming on into the 10. Gittins came on. I thought Gittins was very, very underwhelming, very, very bland, not really moving me, not really taking me to new places, new heights. What can we do? 55 million. I can't go at the kid. He's not worth 55 million. We all kind of said we need 35s, kind of max 40 in the negotiation. He's not a 55 million pound player. I can't get angry at him for not being ready. He didn't purchase himself. When you spend 55 million pound on a player and that's what you're getting off the bench against Benfica, it is a little bit concerning because it's fucking raw. It's fucking raw. It's raw. It's raw. It's raw. And for me, it's like, what do we do here? Because, Garnacho is clearly ahead of him in the pecking order, so there's no doubt about that. Neto, Esteval will continue to fight out on the other side, so you just need to keep people fit. But he's 3rd choice left winger right now. He's behind Neto, he's behind Garnacho. It's not great for that amount of money. So, yeah, you know what I think already. You know my feelings towards the directors. I think it's ridiculous that you have that amount of money spent on a player that really we can't even look to because he's clearly not ready. And he showed that when he came on. Even though Garnacho has a lot more to do to improve, the clear difference between the two players is there. We can see it. The off-the-ball movement, for one. That goal that we scored doesn't happen with Gittins on the pitch. He just doesn't make that run with that intensity, with that thought process, the same way Garnacho does. We've seen the off-the-ball movement against Lincoln for Gittins. It wasn't great. So, not good in that respect off the bench. But apart from that, job done. Wasn't pretty. Wasn't glitz and glamour. Probably maybe could have tested the keeper a bit more. Could have... We had to rely on a few big blocks, and Sanchez had a couple good saves as well. He made some important saves. off the post. He tipped one on, so rode our luck a little bit. But I think on the balance, we slightly deserved it. I think I don't know. I haven't checked the XG and there's a stacks and the field tilts, but I feel like we deserve it. So I'm gonna say it. I'll take it. I don't really care if we deserved it anyway. I'll be real. I just want to win the game. We won the game. Job done. We move to the next. Like I said, in surgery, it's just about stitching up the team right now. Not really trying to make things look pretty. We're bleeding to death. Today we stop the bleeding. We go on to Liverpool. Liverpool lost to Galatasaray. Does that really change the narrative going to the game? I don't really know, because obviously Liverpool might just be angrier now, but they have a few injuries. Obviously no one wishes for that, but you know, that is the circumstance that they're going to have to make some changes. So look, that's what the situation is. We've won the game. That's really important. Champions League night in front of Jose Mourinho. You get points on the board. We're going for automatic qualification and bit more of a, hopefully, foundation to build from going on into the weekend, then international break, get some players back, and then go again and try to get out of this funk that we were in and need to get out of, you know. So happy days. I can't really complain. You know, we won. So that's all we need. Clean sheet. Good for the defence. Good defensive moments and big moments for defenders that, you know, blocks and interceptions. Good for the confidence. So happy days, lads. What can we say? Comment GXNG in the comments. And I'll see you guys for the watch along tomorrow. Barcelona versus PSG. In a bit, people. Peace. Come on.